Shut up and sit down.
And now, streaming live from the sunny Southern California coast, this is Options Uncensored.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve. Welcome to Options Uncensored. We're making real option trades in real time together. Let's get right into it. First things first, make sure you have your brokerage account open so you can follow along. Have your YouTube video quality set as high as possible. That way you can read the numbers a whole lot easier. Have a calculator on hand so we can do some easy math. If you have a question or stock you want to go over together live, leave it in the comment section below. And finally, remember, this is not financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes only. All right, happy Monday morning. Let's go over our open positions. Semi-ETF short call spread. We've got a couple March positions and a couple February positions to go over. So short call spread. This one's going against us, but don't worry. We've got plenty of time till March expiration. Emerging market ETF. Trying to get to 16. Mark's at 19. This one, don't worry about at all right now. XBI, we rolled this one. I think XBI is up slightly today. Again, this is February expiration, and we rolled it, so let's give this one some more time to work out. Morgan Stanley, March short put, not a spread, trying to get to 34, right now at 52. Delta, February expiration, trying to get to 16, right now at 39. And XHB trying to get to 25. This one's a little bit against us as well, $38 down, but again, this one's February expiration. So all this, nothing's going to happen with these today. I think we just got to keep an eye on everything. Maybe Morgan Stanley could close. That's possible. Maybe the emerging market ETF could close, but I don't think much is going to happen with that. So let's look at some new positions for this Monday morning. A lot in the news. We'll start off with Tesla first, TSLA. Just keep in mind, we do have a bunch of earnings coming up in the next couple of weeks, so we have to avoid those if at all possible. Earnings are on the 24th. That's in 2 days. So Tesla was in the news, but we are going to wait till after earnings. I think we got a price target cut from Morgan Stanley this morning to 345. That makes sense. At this point, we'll just have to wait till after earnings, then we'll do something there if there's a big enough move, okay? ADM, Archer Daniels, down 20% today. And the news, it's not very clear what happened yet, but they put their CFO on administrative leave, and I think they're being investigated by the SEC. So that's not good. We do have earnings on the 25th. That's going to throw a wrench into this one. So with earnings coming up and this big gap down, you definitely have a lot of volatility now. NVIDIA, we'll look at NVIDIA in a second. Give me a second. Let's finish Archer Daniels, then we'll do NVIDIA. Archer Daniels is a farming ETF, farming company. Food processing, consumer non-cyclical. Puts for March expiration. It's a lot of trading going on here. This is a very boring stock, so usually there's hardly any volume. We'll wait for after earnings. Maybe there'll be a better clarification of what happened, okay? Let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's earnings are on the 21st, so we got some time. Low volatility, so you have to be careful selling options when there's low volatility, because if things move down, it'll move against you. Any big news today? Not much. So we got a month till earnings. Way up in the stratosphere. I did say, I think if it got around to 600, maybe sell the call side. Call side for March. If you sold 700, and you could buy coverage at any of these up until 740. So if you want to do the tightest one, sell 700 and buy 705. 1007. What app is this on? This is the desktop version of Power E-Trade. So it's by Morgan Stanley. E-Trade used to be a brokerage platform called Options House. Then Options House got bought up by E-Trade, and then E-Trade got bought by Morgan Stanley. But if you've ever used Option House, it's the same look entire time. It's a good platform, especially if you're an options trader. Okay, so back to this. Selling, what do I say? Sell 700 by 705. Or you could sell 695 by 700. Let's do the 700 one. 1,000 minus 935 divided by 2 divided by 500. 6.5% there. It's interesting. We're 700 on the chart. 700's way up here. I think this trend line is misplaced. I don't know how far back this trend line goes. It's an old trend line, but Nvidia has definitely had a big move up in the past couple weeks since the beginning of the year. So there should be some pullback at some point. I'd stay clear of Nvidia. There's no reason why this couldn't continue into earnings, this upward move. And then if this upward movement continues into earnings and it disappoints, those will come back down. So it's not the best trade to make right now. Gilead, G-I-L-D. Down 10% today. They had a lung cancer drug in phase 2 fail. Hitting the 200-day. Earnings are on the 6th, so we got about 2 or 3 weeks till then. Put side. If you sold 70 and bought 65, 68 minus 26 divided by 2 divided by 500, 4.2% if you sold this put spread for March. Good dividend. Where's 70 on the chart? 70's down here. I think we'll keep Gilead on the list and follow up over the course of this week. We do have some support from back here in August of 23. Next support is down here at 76. So I think if it breaks through the 200-day and continues to move down, I wouldn't mind selling a put or put spread around 76, okay? So we'll follow up later this week with Gilead. Next, UNP. I think the rails in general got some upgrades today. Raised to outperform at Bernstein. Earnings on the 25th. We're too close to earnings, so let's move on. NSC, Norfolk Southern. They're also rail. And their earnings are on the 26th. Bernstein upgraded them as well to outperform. 272 price target seems very fair. Next, let's look at JB Hunt, JBHT. Also, this is a trucking stock. Earnings on April 15th, so we got plenty of time. UBS upgraded JB Hunt today. Price target to 234. That seems fair as well. So we've got earnings out of the way. Here's our chart. We have an ascending trend line here. It looked like we did have a descending trend line here, but it's broken above it. For March, not a lot of volume here, so no liquidity. Let's move on. American, AAL. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything to do here. And they have earnings coming up on the 25th. We'll have to wait till after earnings. They were raised to outperform at Wolf. Stick to Delta. Next, Boeing. I think Boeing has their earnings either this week or next week, early next week. The FAA has more issues with some of their older MAX models, so they're investigating that. It did open down, but it's already rallying back. Looks like from its downward move, it caught support right from here back in October. It's bouncing up. We'll stay away from Boeing until after earnings on the 31st, okay? Let's look at Citibank. Citibank is post-earnings. Raised to neutral from sell. Oh, sorry, no, it's Fastly. Ignore that. I think there was some news about Warren Buffett being optimistic about Citibank. That's the bump today. Earnings are in April, so this is not a worry for us. I'm not the biggest fan of Citibank, and very low volatility. Yeah. On the put side, you'd want to sell the 48 and you get $42. On the call side, though, if you sold the 57.5, you get $42 as well. So evenly priced on both sides. Skip this one. Moving on. Macy's was in the news. Up almost 4% today. Takeover bid rejection at $21 a share. That's why. Earnings are in March. We got plenty of time. Caught a bounce here. Hey, look at the put side. Very high IV. Holy smokes, these are expensive. Put side. Yeah, you have put skew here, so you'd want to sell the put side. If you sold the 14 and bought the 11, what do you get? 58 minus 27 divided by 2 divided by 300, 5% there. That's not bad for Macy's. 14 on the chart. 14's down here. Descending trend line. That's concerning. We'll skip Macy's. If anything, I'd rather sell the call side. You just don't get paid for it. You'd have to sell the 23 and buy the 24 because the rest are too illiquid. And you're making a $100 spread. It's not worth it. Moving on. This one was close. HD, Home Depot. Earnings are on the 20th, month away. Home Depot and Lowe's downgraded by somebody. Could catch resistance around 365. If not, the next stop is 381. Let's look at the call side for March. If you sold the 390 and bought the 395, okay liquidity. It's not the best here. In fact, this 390 strikes too illiquid for me, so I'm going to move on right away. Put side, maybe. If you sold 330 and bought 325, you could do that. 266 minus 210. These aren't expensive though. 266 minus 210 divided by 2 divided by 500, 5.6%. I'd skip this one. We need higher volatility on this one. It's come down too much. Okay. Next, Lulu. Downgrade at Lulu, I believe. HSBC downgrades Lulu. Earnings are on the 28th of March, so that's after March expiration. Here's the chart. Should catch support around 437-ish. If not, next stop is 420, and you got the 200-day coming up. If we move on the put side, what do you get? If you sold 430 and bought 420, very low IV on this one too. Be careful. 312 minus 225 divided by 2. It's only 4.3%. This one's not worth it. Moving on. Western Digital WDC up 3%, but it looks like we've got earnings coming up on the 25th. So we'll hold off till after earnings. Western Digital rises after a top pick named at Morgan Stanley. We'll see what happens after earnings. If there's a big move, especially to the upside, we can sell the call side. Lower, high, lower, lower. Yeah, if you got up to around 60, sell the call side. But not yet. Wait till after earnings. Next up, PayPal. Flat today, but was up big. Earnings are on the 7th, so we're a little close to earnings at this point. Let's wait till after earnings. Moving on. Intel, INTC. It's up there with all the chip makers. Again, sorry, earnings are on the 25th. We'll have to wait till after earnings. Skipping this one. Comerica, CMA. Comerica downgraded at Raymond James. Earnings in the 9th. Earnings are past us. Great, so we don't have to worry about earnings now. Volatility has dipped down. Put side for March, no volume here. Call side, same thing, no volume. You'd have to sell the 60. We'll skip this one. Did we look at Lowe's after Home Depot? LOW, they got the downgrade too. Earnings on the 28th, so we got over a month. Oppenheimer downgrades. And cuts price target to 230. That seems a little low, actually. Descending trend line here and an ascending trend line here. Put side, you have to sell 195. It's too illiquid. Call side, you'd have to sell 240. Same thing. A little too illiquid. Okay. Look at a merger takeout bid. Sunoco. Up first, down 3.5%. What was the news? Sunoco to buy New Star Energy in a $7.3 billion all-stock deal. So let's look at both of them. Earnings on the 14th. We'll keep that in mind. Opened up down, is rallying back. On the put side, you'd have to sell 50, and it's too illiquid. Let's look at NS, they are up 14.5% today on the news. But as you can see, two are liquid on the call side. That's already selling off. Okie dokie. Let's look at some follow-ups from last week. Schlumberger, SLB. Earnings were last week. Volatility's gone down, so we're gonna take this one off the list. Next, Wayfair W. This is also a follow-up from last week. Same thing, we've lost a lot of volatility, so that means the option prices are not as expensive as we'd like them to be. Sorry, Wayfair did not go through. This one looks better. The same thing, yeah, volatility's fallen off. Earnings are on the 22nd, so it's exactly a month away from today. Got a good bounce off the 200-day. Let's look at the put side here. For March, if you sold 40 and bought 35, 100 minus 48 divided by 2 divided by 500, 5.2% there. Where's 40 on the chart? 40 seems awfully far away. 40's down here. I'd be okay with this one. I know they're up 6.5% today, so I usually say, hey, we missed this one. But I think the upside can continue here. And the strike is the 40. Earnings, when were they? The 22nd, exactly 1 month. I would definitely do a put spread here, not just the put, because I don't want to own shares of this. And these are very expensive. I think we'll set this one up. Liquidity's okay. If there's nothing better, I'll come back to this one at the end of the show. Okay, next up, Celsius. Up 3.5% today. Earnings on the 28th. Got close to the 200-day. I think that's what we were waiting for. Hasn't quite gotten there yet. On the put side, if you sold 40 and bought 35, 69 minus 24 divided by 2 divided by 500, only 4.5% there. Call side. Call side's expensive. $65 is a little too close, and the 70 is too far out. You'd have to sell 70 by 75. What do you get? 97 minus 59 divided by 2 divided by 500, 3.8%. It's not worth it. The 70 is too far out, and the 65 is too close for comfort. Let's move on. There's more movement to the downside, either today, tomorrow, the next day. We'll sell the put side then, but hold on for this one. Cisco, CSCO. Tried to sell the call spread on Friday. It didn't hold. Let's move past the 200-day. Next stop for resistance is right here, right now, over here at 51.75. If it moves past that, next resistance is at 52.5. We'll keep that in mind. Earnings for Cisco are 14th, getting close here. Let's see, if you sold on the call side, well, the 55 is too close to sell, and the 57.5 is too far out. Moving on, DraftKings, DKNG. We're waiting to get to 42. No, sorry. Was it 42 on the call side, maybe? Earnings are on the 15th. Getting close, a month away. A little less than a month away. Oh, I see. We want to sell the call side if it gets to 42. Those are my notes. So we look at the chart here on the big picture. 42 is right here. We'll have resistance here, here, and here between 42 and 45. So if you look at the chart, move up and then a pullback, move up, then a pullback, waiting for another move up towards 42, and then anticipation of a pullback. So that's what we're waiting for on DraftKings. Hold on this one. Unity. Unity has earnings on the 26th. We got a month. It looks like our volatility is coming in a bit, so we're actually going to take Unity off the list. We had our shot a week or so ago. Maybe time to move on from this one. IV rank according to E-Trade is 0, so that's not what we want. FXI. China ETF down 2.8% today. All right. Interesting. We're at the support down from October of 2022. If it breaks down from there, let's look at the weekly chart. We have to go back to 2008. Jesus. Next support after this, if it breaks through here, around 2021. It's a tough one. If it breaks down below this low here, next support is around 19,520. Interesting. This one's very interesting. According to this, has got an IV rate of 86. We definitely have some heightened volatility here. Let's look at the put side. You have to go all the way out and sell the... You could sell the 19 and buy the 17.5. Or you just sell the 19 straight out. Where's 19 on the chart? Let's go back to the daily. So 19 is right about here. I'll go ahead and sell one of these, and it won't be a spread. We'll just do the 19 right out. Okay, so March expiration. So just be aware, this is not a put spread. We'll just do the put. Hold on, let me do some math. If we sold the 19 and bought the 17.5, that's a $150 spread. 28 minus 11 divided by 2 divided by 150, 5.6. It's not really worth it. It would sell one of these straight out. So this would need to be cash secured on your account. You'd need to have $1,900 on your account to make it cash secured. So we'll sell one March expiration of the 19 strike. It's a put. Limit credit of $29 for today. Preview this. Double check your ticket. Sell one March put 29 limit to open, credit of $29. Good to go. We'll send that out. If it gets filled, 29 divided by 2. We'll set the buy to close, good till canceled, limit debit of $14. Okay? Cool. Next up, CVS. This is a follow-up as well. Earnings are the 7th. We're getting awfully close. I think we were waiting for it to get down to the 200-day with the support from back in November. I don't think it's going to get there. We have an update today. Earnings on the 7th, was it? We're getting a little too close for earnings. So, the 7th. Today's the 22nd. We're going to take this off the list and wait till after earnings now, okay? Cool. Let's go to our IV rank scanner and we will sort by volume. The IWM is still has some heightened volatility, 55% IV rank for the 30. Up 2% today. As you can see, volatility's really come back down to average. Got the bounce here from back in December, moving up. That may be the bounce. So it may be too late to sell the put side. And now if I want to sell the call side here, skip this one. Earnings. Let's just go down the list here. Earnings. First one is Marathon. We'll skip. Microsoft earnings. Spirit up 12% today. We did look at the put side last week. I was too chicken to sell the put spread. But if you did, you probably are out of it already. Meta earnings. BABA. Let's stick with the FXI instead of going straight out BABA. BABA, let's look at the chart though. They've got to be getting low here. Support coming back at 58. So I wouldn't sell BABA puts yet. I don't want to sell the call side yet either, because it could get a bounce anywhere between, I'd say 59 and 61.5. Hold on, Baba. FXI, 85% IV rank. We got our ticket open. We'll see if this one gets filled. Earnings. Coinbase, 34. Seems awfully low, actually. Skip Coinbase. Earnings. Upstart, up 13% today. UPST. We've traded this one before. I think we sold the call side somewhere back here in August or September and made our money as it made its move down. Let's see, the put side, if you sold If you sold 20 and bought 15, or 20 and bought 17.5, 47 minus 25 divided by 2 divided by 250, that's 4.4%. The 22.5 is a little close. Call side's really expensive. If you sold the 50, you get 221. If you sold the put side, you get 47. So there's a lot of call skew here. The 52.5 is more liquid. I like that. If you sold 52.5 and bought 57.5, it's 186 minus 135 divided by 2 divided by 500, 5% there. It's actually not as good as I thought it'd be. We got some time before earnings as well. Let's see, keep going. Affirm on the 8th. The K-Web. Stick to FXI. Boeing we already looked at. Earnings. Snap earnings. End phase. Pass on end phase. Carry. Nope. Earnings. TNA. Nah. JD. We'll stick to the FXI. Plug. Roku's at 82. I wonder if they have earnings coming up. Earnings are on the 14th. All right. Here's our chart. Hard to say on this one. We do have a descending trend line, which it could be at the top of, continuing down. Call side looks interesting here. Could catch support on the put side between 73 and 75. If I had to, gun to the head, sell the call side. I don't know if you get out in time though. If you sold 115 and bought 120, 250 minus 190 divided by 2 divided by 500, 6% on the nose there. It's not bad. 115 on the chart. 115 is up here. But just know that earnings are on the horizon. You'd be holding through earnings if it doesn't close in time. 14th. Today's the 22nd. About 3 or 4 weeks till then. It's doable. Let's move on. Macy's, we already looked at. American, earnings. Digital World, up 21%. DWAC, let's check it out. Ooh, lordy. Doesn't show earnings. That's concerning. Had this big move up to the call side. We've got resistance back here from April of 2022. Next stop is 36, 37-ish. But I bet you the call side's very expensive. And the strike we need to sell is probably out here near 50, 55. Let's take a look on the call side for March. You'd have to sell 50. That makes sense. Very bad liquidity here, though. Let's move on. Archer Daniel, we already looked at. Shopify. SHOP. Earnings are the 21st, exactly a month away. No news. According to this, Ivy's not that high. Maybe sell the call side. It's hitting resistance from back here in January of 22. If you sold 100 and bought 105 on the call side, 142 minus 90 divided by 2 divided by 500, only 5%. That's not worth it. A couple more of them we'll call it for today. Exxon has earnings. Our emerging market ETF, we're already in that one. XBI, we're in that one. We rolled. Broadcom, Fastly, JetBlue. Earnings everywhere. We got a whole slew of earnings coming up this week, so hopefully there'll be some big moves that aren't priced into the options market. If so, we can open up positions after the earnings move, okay? Anything else? Baidu, no. Earnings. Charge point. I think we'll call it for today. If this, like I said, if this FXI put gets filled, we will set a buy to close, good till cancel order, limit debit of 14, okay? Trying to get 29 on it. EE, how do you earn? How do you earn? How do I earn? Well, it's very easy. You sell, and then you close it. Then you earn. I'll give you a couple seconds to clarify the question. If not, we'll call it. EE, what do you mean by how do you learn? How do you learn? Is that what you meant? Or how do you earn? If the question is how do you earn, well, let's look at Shopify, for example. You sell the spread, if it's the call side. On the put side, you either sell the put right out or sell a put spread, and you receive a credit up front. For example, on the FXI, we're trying to receive a credit of 29. And then if it moves in your direction, in your favor, or it just runs out of time, we have the buy to closed order at half, and you make your money that way. And all these are close orders. So all my positions, these are all close orders. So if you close, you're buying to close. So you receive the credit up front and you close it at a lower price, you keep the money. That's how you earn. If the question is how do you learn, that's a much more complicated question to answer with less than a minute left of a YouTube show. So there you go. I think we'll call it for today. I don't think any of these are going to close today. Maybe Morgan Stanley, maybe emerging market, but probably not. All right. And if this FXI position fills, that'll be great as well. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, today. Tune in every morning at 7:15 a.m. on the West Coast and 10:15 a.m. on the East Coast. We go live every morning, trading options. Also tell your friends who are trading to tune in as well. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a happy Monday. We'll see you all tomorrow.